The author of the Hebrews continues to give examples of Old Testament figures who trusted in God to preserve them in times of suffering and hardship. Now that the saving work of Christ has been completed, they with us enjoy the promise of eternal life. The reading. They were stoned to death. They were sawn in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, persecuted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in the deserts and mountains, and in the caves and holes in the ground. Yet all those, though they were commended for their faith, did not receive what was promised, since God had provided something better, so that they would not, apart from us, be made perfect. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin that clings so closely. Let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who for the sake of the joy that was set before him endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and was taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. The continuing story of our faith.
Our gospel reading is several loosely joined sayings about the end of the current era. In refining, fire is used to separate the genuine from the dross. It purifies. Jesus has come to bring peace, but not at any cost. The crowds understand signs of impeding weather, but fail to see that Jesus' ministry foreshadows divisions between the godly and the ungodly at the end of the era. The reading. I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it is completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, rather division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. He also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising in the west, you immediately say, it's going to rain, and so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, there will be scorching heat, and it happens. You hypocrites! You know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? The word of the Lord.
mother against father, son against parent, sister against brother. How are the divisions made? We are divided about so many things. I recall one time driving past a group who were demonstrating at a Presbyterian church supporting the right to life. However, like the Catholic Church, which is at least consistent, this protesting group did not protest the death penalty, another judgment of life and death. The behavior of our president and the inconsistency with the behavior we are trying to teach our children causes great division within this house alone. Are these battles worth fighting? Do we know what is really worth ruining a family meal? Most of our families know what to avoid when we eat. I've seen families sit down to eat and talk politics from a partisan perspective, and I have also seen a couple or one of the members keep quiet, which an observant person will know means the quiet one does not agree with what is being said. See, silence can be a loud objector. But the silent one either knows it is futile to bring up an opposing view or that it is not worth the battle. We have also seen families square off into corners, whether to watch the last episode of Friends or to watch a ball game. A big argument will ensue, and the winner gets to joylessly watch their choice. Father against son, mother against daughter. Or who's the greatest generation? Perhaps it is the one who fought World War II, the war of defense to keep an enemy from taking our land and ruling the world. And then again, maybe it's the one who gave their lives for a war of no justification, a war in Southeast Asia that was sure to fail, and yet we gave lives and more lives and still wondered why. And now we wonder what kind of war in which we are engaged, one that is needful or one that serves another purpose. What is worth fighting for and what is worth walking away? Jesus, as far as we know, was not married, nor had children, but he knew about families. He saw how brothers could rise against brother. Long before brothers took arms both north and south, Jesus observed brothers and sisters vying for the attention of mother or dad. I suspect Everybody Loves Raymond was often repeated with Everybody Loves Benjamin or Everybody Loves Rachel. One of the family gets the favors and the others have to fight for what they get. A father gives a coat to one son and his brothers against brother, sons against father. Do we use grape juice or wine? Do we dunk or do we sprinkle? And then we find the church divided. Can a priest be gay and be bishop? Draw the lines and we go at it again. Seems to be a way of life, divide over who speaks French, who speaks Spanish, who speaks good English or passable English. Is it worth it? Have you noticed how some of the folks who insist on English as the official language of the United States do a tolerably poor job of speaking it themselves? Good music, gospel music, tongues, healings, loud amens, hats on women, clapping in church, beards on men, women to the left, men on the right, blacks at the back of the bus, children working in factories, undocumented persons dying on boats or trucks or in waiting stations. Is the battle worth it? Clearly there are battles worth fighting, and clearly there are others that are nothing more than straw in the eyes of God. How do we know the difference? How can we tell when we need to turn away from family or career or nation? Jesus offers a clue when he talks about the weather. Not many weeks ago, We watched on the news as tornadoes made their ways across Oklahoma. We know the winds are strange and unpredictable. They blow where they will. In Jesus' day, they had no radar to show a hurricane sitting off the coast, out in the ocean, seeking a place to land. But they could look up and see clouds, and they would expect rain. And our hearts go out to those whose homes have been destroyed, whose livelihood has been taken away from them, who have lost family and friends through the storms of hurricanes and tornadoes. We tend to do a better job predicting weather, but when it comes to shootings and the loss of life, well, we fail miserably. I think the storm is able to teach us something, though. In the face of such a disaster, we once again find that love, compassion, and mercy are stronger than the need to be right, parochialism, or division over any number of issues. The sociology professor every year begins his course on the family by reading to his class a letter from a parent. It was written to a government official. And in the letter, the parent complains that his son, once obedient and well-motivated, has become involved with some weird new religious cult. And the father complains that the cult has taken over the boy's life, has forced him to forsake all of his old friends and turning against his family. And after reading the letter, the professor asked the class to speculate what the father was talking about. And almost everyone, without exception, the class immediately assumes that the father is talking about Moonies or some other controversial group. And after the class puts out all the possible suggestions, the professor surprises them by revealing that the letter was written by a 3rd century father in Rome, the governor of his province, complaining about the weird religious group called Christians. By the very nature of doing what is considered Christian, other people can become uncomfortable. I'm not talking about praying before a meal in public. That almost smacks for me of Republicans who like to pray in public and draw attention to themselves. I'm talking about when there is a hard decision. Do I follow Jesus or my employer or my government? That will make others uncomfortable. Express dismay at how our country treats others, even her own citizens, in uncharitable ways, dare I say, even unchristian ways. And then we see how quickly one discovers one's faith takes a back seat to so-called patriotism. When others at work or school want to push the envelope on cheating or stealing, we must walk away. And when we do, we are looked at with suspicion. We can be viewed as children divided against parents. And yet the biggest dividers, the most divisive group, the most suspicious and accusatory, often are we Christians ourselves. Look at the sky. When your child comes home with a tattoo, it's done. Both my children have tattoos, and I decided the other day to get one myself. And I know you can't see it because there are 12 Easter eggs, and I told him to hide them. When the plant closes and your job is gone, when one in a relationship decides he or she does not want to be married anymore, there are some things that are not worth fighting. Save it for the really worthwhile things. When you see the clouds coming, the storms building, you know this much. We cannot control nature, so we are left not with making the storm go away, but with making an appropriate response in the face of the storm. You know the old joke about a husband and wife in golf. The wife says, Gil, you promised to be home at 4, and here it is 8 o'clock. And Gil says, honey, please listen to me. Poor old Roger is in the hospital. He was knocked unconscious by a stray shot in the 8th green. His wife says, that's awful. And Gil says, it surely was. For the rest of the game, it was hit the ball, drag Roger, hit the ball, drag Roger. If we are going to get anywhere in our Christian pilgrimage, we have to stop dragging Roger, or dragging our narrow, focused agendas, our self-interest over the interest of God. We have to lay aside every weight that would keep us from running the good race. Let me show you an adjustment to thinking. When we were meeting as the search committee for a youth minister, I'd ask colleagues, they all laugh, they're all looking for youth ministers too. Can't find them. But one of the things that I find in reading and listening to others is that the better system is having people in the congregation that work with you. We know that's true in many ways. That when they leave home, the church has a much higher chance of retaining that youth in the church if they were related with someone in the church, not with a youth minister. Youth ministers come and go. So here we are in a meeting. I explained this to the committee, and the youngest person in the group, a senior, he said, well, first I heard the committee go, oh yeah, we've got some young couples in the church that would work well. I said, it's not about age. And so this young person said, well, that's right. He said, one of the people that has meant more to me than anyone else who's been very influential in my life is an old man. And I said, and he's at camp every year. And I said, who is that? Do you know? He said, yeah, his name is Gene. And I looked at him and I said, Gene Spillman? And he said, yes. I said, Gene's younger than I am. To which he responded, well, how old are you? That ended the discussion. But as you see, it's not about age. I mean, there are those in youth group that refer to Bev as their second mother, and if they're angry with their own mother, then they call her their first mother. It's a shift in thinking. It's a hard shift, but it's a shift in thinking. As Paul writes in his letter to the Philippians, not that I have already been made perfect, but I press on, forgetting what is behind, straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Now, it may sound like a hard thing to do. For some of us, it will be harder than for others. Some of us have a lot more to give up than others. What we must remember is that we are not alone. Christ is always present to help us, to strengthen us, and give us courage. Our faith tells us so. We are also encouraged with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a whole cloud of witnesses, of saints that have gone before us. Look at the signs. We see a God who has not ever abandoned us, who gave to us a gift beyond measure. We see Jesus who gave us promise and hope. We see a who's who of faith who have passed this way before. A church that stands in this community for many years and speaks of God's love and presence. A couple years ago, Kathy and I stopped by a seminary, Gethsemane, which is in Indiana. It's an abbey. It's where priests live, monks live. And while I was there, I bought a couple of books they had. Books that the priests use, meditation books. And one of the things that I found was something called Jesu Lux Hominum, meaning Jesus' light of men, light of all people. And I liked it a lot. I wanted to set it to music. The words, when the morn with golden ray ushers in the newborn day, brighten be thy beams, I pray. When meet joys of earth are blessed, when I deem its gifts the best, lead me to the land of rest. When the clouds around my head fill the soul with doubt, dread, let thy gracious light be shed, Jesus, light my way. When the darkness fails to light, when the day is lost in night, shine in beams of radiance bright. When in night of grief I mourn, when with pain my heart is torn, come in brightness of the morning. When the veil of death I tread, clouds of darkness round my head, on the path thy brightness shed. And when I dwell in light divine, when the bliss of heaven is mine, light of lights, all praise be thine. Jesus, light my way. When the morn with golden ray ushers in the newborn day, brighter be thy wings, I pray, Jesu light my way. When we joys of earth are blessed, when I deem its gifts the best, lead me to the land of rest, Jesu light my way. When the clouds around my head fill the soul with doubt and dread, let thy gracious light be shed, Jesu light my way. When the darkness veils the light, when the day is lost in night, shine in beams of radiance bright, Jesu light my way. When in night of grief I mourn, when with pain my heart is torn, come in brightness like the morn, Jesu light my way. When the veil of death I tread, clouds of darkness round my head, on the path thy brightness shed, Jesu light my way. When I dwell in light divine, when the bliss of heaven is mine, light of light, all praise be thine, Jesu light my way. in our living. We also extend an invitation for any who